Hello, welcome back to Versus Live. I am Ross Merriam. That's Todd Anderson. I got Rob in the booth. Say hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Nice. He's got it down now.
Yeah, it's, we're at some
Once
point.
somebody explained the joke to me, I got the joke.
Yeah, I mean it's like an old like radio gag from like the 70s or 80s or whatever. So.
As always, we are brought to you by Star City Games and Carnox Chairs. Make sure to go to carnox.com/SCG if you want one of these because they are great. My life has improved substantially since we got these chairs. Even though I only sit in them like twice a week, maybe once on weekends.
Yeah. I'll say this. Hey, Carnox, if you're watching, I got a stream. You know, I would love to shill for you
In exchange
for a chair. All I want is a chair. You don't got to pay me. Just give me a chair. Anyway,
But you want a chair after you move, though. You don't want them to send you a chair here and then have to transport it to California.
Yeah. I want to get in writing that they're going to give me a chair, and then I will tell them when and where.
Yeah, to send a chair.
All right. So we have already played one match. We had Jund Dinosaurs successfully defeat a Golgari Blood Hulk deck, a Blood for Bones
Molder Hulk special
Hulk thing. Moving on.
So those decks are both going pretty big. Dinosaurs, they're really big. We're playing Galtas, giving them haste. I'm like trying to combo out with Lotless Giants and big Molder Hulks. I don't go as big as these decks.
They do not. Galta was prime time. Oh, you're talking about these decks.
These decks.
What are these decks? What are you playing?
I am playing a Gate Scape Shift deck.
Gate Shift?
Yeah.
Is it called Gate Shift?
Yeah, we're calling it Gate Shift. Also,
Good.
YoMan5 wants to know if you've had any practice with this yet, or if this is just your
You wanna
fresh,
switch?
or if you even watched it.
You want to switch?
I'll be fine.
When you say that,
Yeah, I do say that.
you
I literally
are
just did.
currently saying it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I don't know if anybody's seen all the sweet things you can do with Scape Shift, but with Field of the Dead, a card that I thought just had basically no text because whoever has 7 different lands have different names. But when you get to tutor for all of them, it's pretty easy to find 7 with different names.
I mean, sure. With the card exactly Scape Shift, it is pretty messed up because once you hit your 7th land drop, much like Valakut in Modern or whatever, like you can effectively turn on the land that you get to search for. It's a self-contained combo. So you get basically one of every gate, and then or 6 gates or whatever, and then 1 Field of the Dead, and you get to generate 6 zombies. If you have 8 lands, you actually get to get 2 Field of the Dead and 6 gates, and that gives you 16 zombies. It's pretty cool.
And then, with just Circuitous route too, you can spread out your land names and eventually sort of naturally turn it on the way Valakut decks have for many years now. So we've got a sort of functional combo with Scape Shift, which is really cool. And then the typical gate synergies you see, we've got Gates Ablaze, we've got Archway Angel, got Guild Summit.
Guild Summit, it's also a really nice one with Scape Shift. It allows you to basically just draw a card for every land you control. So that's really nice. So a lot of really cool synergies with Scape Shift in the deck, And it's one of the cards that I actually wrote about in my article that I think went up today. I wrote it last Friday, but it talked all about Scape Shift and using it in different ways. I didn't write about the Gates deck because I was not aware about the Gates deck when it was coming out. But I knew that Scape Shift worked with the Gates. That was something actually people talked about with Guild Summit. But now with Field of the Dead, it just feels like it makes perfect sense.
Yes, definitely. And it lets you do some weird stuff. The deck is always going to be a little bit slow out of the gates.
Oh, God.
Because a lot of its lands enter the battlefield tapped. But when the engines get rolling, it does basically the most powerful things you can be doing in Standard, besides maybe, Reclamation plus Nexus taking every single turn. But you are going to be playing another ramp-style deck, big mana. This one more traditional with mana acceleration into Nissa.
Yeah, but the key part of this deck that we're really trying to push is Leyline of Abundance. If we can get that one on screen, that would be great. So
0 copies of Growth Spiral in your deck.
Yeah, it's all creature ramp.
Yeah.
We're going really hard on Paradise Druid, Incubation Druid, Llanowar Elves,
Leafkin Druid.
Leafkin Druid is the new one that's pairs well with Risen Reef to give you more, just a couple more elementals to keep that little engine going. But Leyline Abundance basically just doubles all your creature mana, and that's really powerful. And it has a mana dump if you have enough mana for 8 mana. It's all you do is get to put a 1/1 counter on all your creatures. But when you have 16 mana or whatever and nothing to do with it, this not only it's self-contained mana generation and a way to use the mana, which is
Yes.
apparently powerful for 0 mana. It
Yes.
starts in your opening hand, you just get to put it on the battlefield for free.
Definitely an issue with ramp decks is that they just flood and draw a lot of ramp and no real payoffs. This is having a hybrid ramp card / payoff, really helpful towards mitigating that inconsistency. Incredibly powerful if you're able to put it onto the battlefield before the game starts, and definitely a reasonably castable card in your deck that sometimes will set you up to generate 2, 3, 4 extra mana on the following turn.
Yeah, our payoffs here, we have Nissa Who Shakes the World as not only a ramp payoff, but also as a more mana generator. And with Leyline Abundance, every land that you own tap gets to add an additional green as well.
Yes,
so
and now they tap for 3 mana if you untap a forest with it. Just things go just off the rails.
Hydroid crazy.
Yes, they go. Man, our puns are bad.
Okay, all right. Let's
They're bad.
Let's
They're
go ahead
bad
and play
today.
the games. Okay,
We're out of practice.
let's go ahead and play the games. Okay.
It's been a week and a half since we've done a video together. We're out of practice.
Should I keep a hand with Leyline but no mana creatures? That seems weird, right? I kind of wanna just to see. Because if I draw a mana creature in my first 2 draws, my draw goes nuts. I'm gonna keep it.
I will keep this as well.
Pre-game actions. You're
Okay.
on the play.
I am on the play.
The ley lines do stack, correct? If you have multiple.
Yes.
Yeah,
they do.
because it is a triggered ability when you tap a
Okay.
creature. Okay. I would like to have a second gate there, but I'll live.
All right, go. I chucked it. Should have mulligans. With the new mulligan rule too, I think it's important to just
Shock to
mulligan
18.
more often.
I will play a Risen Reef.
Yeah.
I get to look at the top card. Let's put a Simic Gate onto the battlefield, shall we?
Go.
Then we can play Plaza of Harmony, go to 21, and play Cavalier of Thorns.
Yeah, this is a classic. Ross drew some ramp and I didn't, and I'm getting completely punished for not mulliganing.
So look at the top 5. Put a land card from among them onto the battlefield. Let's put this as Aureus Guildgate, seeing as it's the only land, but it's one. That's not bad to have. We also get to do the Risen Reef trigger, so let's do that next, because this is an elemental. I will put this into my hand and attack for 1.
Thank you.
You can go.
Well, that's stupid. I drew a Llanowar Elves, but it's like way too late. And if I play Llanowar Elves, I can't play anything else. Whatever. Go.
Okay. So, I guess we're going to end up discarding because of this, but that's fine. So I'll play a Guild Summit. Tap 3 gates, draw 3 cards.
Yep.
Then
Play a gate, draw a card. Perfect.
play this and make a 2/2. Because I have 7 lands of different names.
Sure.
And it's a 2/2
Come on,
zombie,
Rob.
right?
Come on, Rob.
Oh, yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Rob's gonna grab us a zombie.
Now I don't even have to discard, so that's nice. Then I'll attack for a 6.
Yeah, 13.
Don't think Todd wants to block. I would be happy to. I already have a million cards.
There you go. Some portals for you.
Thank you. All right, we got a portal. And I am at 13, and Ross is at 21. All right, let's go. Nissa, tick up. Turn this into a 3/3. Attack you for 3.
18.
Go. Maybe I should do this one instead. I'm gonna do that instead.
Okay.
So now any land you play gets you a zombie, which is really cool too. Field of Ruin checks says whenever you play land, and since you already were able to create a zombie, you're like guaranteed to just get a zombie every time. It's gonna be really hard to fight through, honestly. But that's what I get. I kept a really slow draw, so that's definitely just my fault.
So why don't I gain 3 life, go to 21?
24. Oh, I had you for 3.
Yeah.
21, my bad. Then you get another zombie.
Yep. I definitely need at least 3 green and a blue. And then 2 colorless and something else. I don't think it matters. Let's call it another green. But I want to...
Escape shift float 3.
Yeah, escape shift float, green, green, blue.
Okay. You sack 7, so you're going to make probably 16 more zombies.
1,
You're sacking
2,
7, right?
yeah, 3, 4, 5. Let's not find that many gates since I don't want to draw that many cards this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's 7 different. That's 6 different names here. Field is a 7th different name.
Mm-hmm.
So that seems reasonable.
So 14. So plus 1 is you have 15 zombies that cannot attack this turn, and 1 that can. And you get to gain 3
and draw 3 cards.
24. Yeah, you draw 3 cards.
So 24.
This is nice that I now have a reason to use my Japanese scape shifts in standard.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you only got them for a couple months, but yeah. I also like on Arena, it's a little awkward to turn wild cards into escape shifts, but you know if the Arena modern type format ends up being good, then that actually makes like escape shift potentially valuable later on.
Float a green.
Sure. But in real life, if you buy Scape Shift to play them for 3 months, you just get to own Scape Shift for Modern. So that
I'll go to 27 and make 2 more zombies.
Okay.
Now tap this for a blue. Play Risen Reef. 2 triggers there. That can go to my hand. And this goes onto the battlefield, and I'll get 2 more zombies.
Pretty sure you gained an extra mana somewhere.
No, I floated 3 off the Scape Shift.
Yeah, and you used
Then
2
I-
to cast Gross Prowl, left you 1, then you played a land.
I had this untapped still. Put this off the Gross Barrel. Okay. So now I can attack you for 5. Seeing as attacking this, it doesn't do anything.
And then it
Brings you to 8, and I will discard. I'll discard Risen Reef.
go 6. 2, 4, 6.
That has a lot of mana this turn. I'm not really sure what his deck
7,
does.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, black dice, please. Untap this.
14.
15. Taps for 3.
Yeah.
Mass manipulation for 5, I guess. That's not even that good. I'm dead. I'm gonna steal 5 creatures and lose very easily.
My 21 zombies is.
Look, man.
I just like mirrors like this because you both get to do like the maximum amount of what your deck does, and then at some point, like one of your deck's things just looks comically underpowered. Like mass manipulation for 5, not remotely close to good enough.
Nah, when your opponent's playing like Esper Control and they have Kaya's Wrath in their deck, it's like making a bunch of zombies. Yeah, who cares? Let's wrath them away.
Yeah.
But then, like, mass manipulation, you steal Teferi, Narset, Liliana, and a Precinct 1 or whatever. It's like, yeah, that's pretty darn good. But, what am I going to do? Take a bunch of zombies in this matchup? So,
a tapped Cavalier of Thorn.
Yeah.
Want to do another pre-board?
Awesome. Yeah, we'll do one more pre-board. I have some stuff like Negate's going to be pretty good against the card Scape Shift, but we each have like probably a Negate package and Veil Summer package, which is weird. So that like we protect our own stuff from counter spells. I kept like a pretty weak hand though, so I really just want to see if the deck is fast enough and powerful enough to keep up with the Scape Shift out of your deck.
Yeah.
The Scape Shift is really good, and I have some like River Rebukes too. Like I have some stuff, but
yeah, I think my deck is going to be a little bit better going along, but your deck is going to come out of the gates faster.
What you got for me, Rob?
Shifting away from standard a little bit, how do you feel about the bridge ban in modern?
I'm happy that I get to keep playing Arclight Phoenix. and I'm happy that I don't have to play main deck Surgical Extraction.
Why are you such a coward?
I mean, if they had banned Faithless Looting, sure, I would have just played something else.
Right. But why are you happy that it's not banned?
Because it makes my life easier. I already have the deck. I know what I'm doing.
Spoken like a true capitalist.
The deck is
all I'm
really
saying.
good. Doesn't even make any sense.
Look, you are just in it for yourself. You don't care about the people.
Yeah, but the people have money invested in Arclight Phoenixes.
Yeah. I know. I've signed plenty of them.
So you've ruined a bunch of people's $30 Mythic Rare? Congrats.
Every time someone asks me to sign in cards and they have them double sleeved, I ask them if they would prefer I just sign the sleeve.
Sure. Yeah, but a signed sleeve is not nearly as worth as much sentimentally.
Yeah.
I have Mulligan, but I'm going to keep this hand, and I will put one of my 3-mana creatures on the bottom. I'm going to put
I
Paralysis on the
am
bottom.
snapping this hand off.
All right, I'm going to start with Ley Line of Abundance. Force go.
Okay, no Llanowar Elf is good.
True.
That combo is kind of messed up. I'm going to start on Gruul Guildgate.
Incubation Druid, your go.
Let's shock for a Hallowed Fountain, mid 18, and pass the turn.
All right, so he's just going to Growth Spiral. So I think I'm just going to pump this turn and say go. All right, in response, I'm going to pump this.
Yep.
So it taps for 2 for this, then 3.
Yeah, and that'll tap for 4. So let's put in Simic Guildgate. That's a good draw.
Want to make sure that this doesn't die to Gates Ablaze. Like if I just spewed off 2 more Leafkin Druids this turn, Gates Ablaze just crushes me.
Teferi, bounce the Druid.
How the hell is that in your deck?
Uh-oh.
I don't
Sorry,
know,
Skullgate.
getting clowned
Pass.
over here. Whatever. Go. Womp womp.
So plus this, and the center is tapped. That's how that works. Okay. So I'm going to play a 5th land. Yeah, let's shock, go to 16. Play Golos.
Yeah, go tight.
And I want a different kind of land than these. I guess I'll just get Plaza.
Yeah, Plaza's good.
Go to 19.
Yeah, I think the only special lands you have in your deck should be Plaza and Field of the Dead.
Yeah,
You can get Field of the Dead, and it'll start getting turned on next turn if you play a different land.
I have Field in my hand though.
Sure. Yeah, in that case, like Plaza is just if you just need a different land name, that's fine.
Yep.
Well, can't draw a land it seems, but we can tap this for 2. That's gonna give us Nissa. We'll take it up to 6. Untap this. Tap this for 3 and replay Incubation Druid, and likely get obliterated by Gates Blades.
Huh.
Okay.
Funny you would say.
I'm already just gonna scoop them up.
Yeah. So we're gonna Gates Ablaze, then make a 2/2
Just want
attack.
to say, I was gonna get to play an Omniscience deck, and Ross changed it to this deck, knowing that if he let me play Omniscience in this matchup, I would have won very easily. And instead gave me a bunch of mana creatures to fight against Gates Ablaze. And gave me a bunch of payoffs like math manipulation instead of Omniscience.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Ross has Mind's Desire.
Yeah. You want to switch decks?
No.
No. Okay. Well, we're going to do some sideboarding here. We're going to take just a 2-minute break while we get that set up. Get some questions in. Rob's going to be asking them after we get done talking about sideboards. Going to take a short break. Be right back. All right, we're back here for sideboarding. And from my side of things, we have Negate to potentially shut down Scape Shift, which I like. And we have 2 copies of River's Rebuke, which can actually save us after Ross has made a ton of zombies. I'm not really certain that River's Rebuke is good enough because I feel like Ross can reload pretty easily after he's done the whole Scape Shift thing. And if he has 2 copies of Field of the Dead, basically every turn he's going to generate 2 more zombies, and that might just be a little too much to beat. As you saw in games 1 and 2, mass manipulation, even if I can cast it for 1 billion, is not very good in this matchup. Ross has very few high value creatures or planeswalkers and a lot of lands that have special effects. So, and then we're cutting 2 Paradise Druid just because I think it's the worst ramper in this matchup because Ross doesn't have targeted removal basically. And something like Leafkin Druid can generate extra mana later in the game or combo with Risen Reef, and then all the other ones are just better on rate.
Yeah, on my side, the only cards I want to cut in the matchup are the Archway Angels and the Teferis. So Teferi be pretty good there in the second game, but I really think it's only good in that scenario where Todd doesn't have a Llanowar Elves, and I'm able to bounce an early creature and gain a lot of tempo out of it.
Did you have Gates of Blaze for X equals 2 on turn 3?
I did not.
Darn. Could have gone crazy with my Leafkin Druids, maybe.
And then the Angel, my life total just doesn't matter in this matchup.
Yeah.
So with only 4 cards I want to bring out, Aether Gust is a higher priority over Veil of Summer because Mass Manipulation is not very good in the matchup to begin with, and we only have room for 1 of the Veil of Summers. If Negate becomes a huge issue, maybe I can find room for a second or even the third, but I don't want to over sideboard here in a matchup that is really going to be about ramping quickly.
Yeah. All right, let's take some questions from the chat.
All right. You kind of mentioned it before, but Chronic 36 wants to know what's your take on the Flood of Tears Omniscience deck?
I think it's really cool, but the I don't know if it's the originator, but Ross, you actually talked to the person who 5-0'd with the list.
Yeah, I mean, it was on. He tweeted out the list with a disclaimer that he did not recommend it. It was Jeff Pike, and then that was retweeted by Arena Decklist. So.
Sure.
I think one of the issues is the list he was playing did not have enough lands. It was like 24, 25, when with Growth Spiral you should be playing really
26.
minimum 26. Yeah. And that could have been an issue. It's a deck that if things go right, it looks really good, but it seems kind of flimsy. And then those Omnisciences can sometimes just sit in your hand, and that's a card where by the time you're casting it, your hand is empty and the ability isn't that relevant. It's not good with Krasis. So it's really only good when you're flooding into it, and that leads to a lot of inconsistency. So this this deck is kind of similar to what you're playing with the Leyline adding a layer of inconsistency, but when you don't draw your Leyline early, you're still playing mana creatures and ramping. You can cast Leyline much more easily in a relevant time frame, and then going along, it has a mana sink for you to do. So there's a lot of abilities on that card that mitigate the downside of not being able to put it onto the battlefield as a pregame effect that Omniscience doesn't have. So I'm not super high on it, but it does seem sweet.
Yeah, I mean, Omniscience plus, what's the card called?
Flood of Tears.
Yeah, Omniscience, Flood of Tears, and a permanent that draws a card, and Tamio allow you to draw your deck because you get to Omniscience, or you get to cast the Flood of Tears, put back in the Omni, Tamio minus get back Flood of Tears, and play a thing that draws a card. Unless you just draw your whole deck. And so, like, as far as going over the top is concerned, it's probably like peak over the top, but it's not nearly as consistent as I would like. It's really vulnerable to counter spells.
So probably not even peak over the top. There's nothing that goes more over the top than Nexus plus Reclamation.
Yeah, that's true too. Couple more.
Pepper MTG wants to know what do you think is the best Risen Reef deck right now?
Well, the most 5-0s came from Temur Elementals, so I'm not saying it's the best one, but it's certainly the most consistent one. I think Omnath is very, very good. Risen Reef and Omnath together is kind of like peanut butter and jelly. Really like the games that go long actually with the deck too, because Omnath lets you draw cards as well.
Yeah, I've played against that deck a couple times now, and it feels like playing against Bant Company from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Where they just never run out. And Tireless Tracker gave the Bant Company deck this long stream of threats along with some other ways to draw cards, and then this is the same thing. They just never run out. Every single one of their cards is replacing itself, then eventually netting card advantage once you have multiple reefs, and then making the lands make everything big, and it just all snowballs so quickly.
So I actually have a second article coming out this week because last week was 4th of July on my published date. The first article was about Scapeshift. That should be out today, hopefully. I haven't double checked. And then I'm going to be writing about Elementals on Thursday with Neoform. I think Neoform has really suffered from a lack of great enter the battlefield effects, but I think Risen Reef and Omnath are both so powerful that they actually make Neoform not only playable but actively great. So that's what I'm going to be writing about. So if you're interested in the elementals deck, make sure to check out not only our next versus match, but my article on Thursday. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's hit it. We're going to be on the play. Uh-oh. This hand's going to be either really good or really bad. It's going to be really good. Holy moly. Oh, no. Keep. That might be really
I'll keep, whatever.
Go. The old turn 2, tap
I
for
didn't
6
even realize
mana.
there were 3. I thought there were only 2.
My 7th card was a 3rd ley line. I'm just going to get smushed by Gates of Blaze here in a minute. Don't worry. That's pretty good. Tap for 4.
Yeah.
Float green. Fabio. Tick up. I'll name Nissa Who Shakes the World, I believe. 2, 3, 4. Finale of Revelation is pretty sweet. Can hopefully use the other green to do this. Here we go. If we draw blue producing mana, next turn we get some minus on finale. This is turn 2, by the way. This is the second turn. This is turn 2. But we can minus on finale. That's 2,
Shock to
3,
18.
4, 8, 9. Can draw 9 cards next turn if we want.
Aether Gust, the Leafkin Druid.
I'll put it on the bottom because I would like to draw blue mana naturally.
Pass the turn.
Draw. I will 4, 5, floating 2, play Risen Reef.
2 green and pool.
Actually, I'm going to draw this because I don't have to reveal it.
Sure.
I'm going to draw this. I'm minus on Risen Reef. I'm going to play the islands. Get 2 triggers. First one. Second one. Go. This turn 3. Just turn 3 after
Just-
getting
just
Ether
normal.
Gusted. Just
Yeah,
classic. This is good. Turn 3, I got
16.
How many permanents do I have on the battlefield? Hold on. 3, 4, 7. I have 12 permanents on the battlefield on turn 3.
Who needs omniscience, right?
Yeah.
About to draw 7 million cards. Yeah, you can draw 7.
I think that actually changes things. So 4, 8. I don't want to lose this yet. So let's on Nissa.
Yeah. And I guess if you wait, you can maybe get this off for 10.
Yeah.
And then actually go full ham.
Okay. Attack you for 2. I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna 14.
say go.
I'm at 12. Circuitous route.
Aren't you? Oh, you're not dead.
Yeah, you can only activate twice, right? And attack for 9.
Yeah.
And you'd have to tap this too, so you can attack for 6.
Mhm.
So we definitely want green mana, and we want different names. So let's get a Selesnya and a Simic, and draw 2 cards.
Can I just negate that? Just gonna negate that.
Why didn't you just snap?
Because I
negate it?
wasn't sure, man. I don't know. It just seems worse and worse. All right, I'll negate it. It makes it so I can't activate the ley line, which is unfortunate.
Who cares?
But I feel like if I wait, you get to maybe have your own counter magic. You just get to maybe double spell next turn. That's not good. Okay. Well.
So I'm at 12.
4. This is turn 4. So we'll go 6. Untap this. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. finale for
4, 5.
Yep.
2, 4, 6. Untap this.
so it's
This
7,
now
8,
makes-
9, 10, 11.
This now makes 5.
Did I miscount? Sorry.
No,
Let's
no,
start-
you're good. You're good. Yeah,
I thought 4,
I
5.
just
It
it didn't.
seems incredulous.
Yeah, it just seems incredulous that you're able to cast Nissa and it nets you like 1,000,000 mana somehow.
All right. Draw 10, untap
5 lands. You have no maximum hand size.
I haven't played a land yet either. Let's untap these 5 lands. Let's play a forest.
So now you're going to have access to 5, 11, 13 more mana.
This taps for 5. So I can. I could tap it to play another Nissa and then untap a different forest just to have another mana creature. But I think what I'm actually just going to do, we're going to tap this for blue, green, green, green. I'm going to play another Tamio. I'm actually just going to minus and get back negate. And that might not sound fun,
But it's definitely right.
it's definitely going to kill you. And then
Small thing you forgot on
Yeah.
the revelation is you forgot to shuffle your graveyard into your library.
oh, so the negate's not there. Okay, no, that's fair. So this is not in the graveyard yet. This is in
You
my hand.
exile the red, but
Okay, so exile the Rev. This all goes to
Sure.
yeah. That's my bad. It does change what I do here. So Tommy is currently at 1.
I don't think it changes anything. I only have 1 gate,
Well, I don't have a negate.
but I
No, I
can't.
know.
Even if I went gate into a blaze, you would be fine.
Sure.
You also have 11 cards in your hand.
Yeah, that's fair. So let's attack for 5.
I'm at 7. You're winning on
Tap
every
this for
metric by a lot.
7, 9, 11, 13. Let's play an 11 Hydroid Crisis.
Go to 25.
Go to 25.
Should probably just make it a 10-10 and leave a green floating and play a Llanowar Elves.
Yeah. Okay. No maximum hand size.
Yeah.
You're go.
Okay.
It's turn 4. This is my turn 4.
Okay.
Is that good? I don't
I'm
know.
going to play Guild Summit and tap this and draw a card.
Sure.
Then I'm going to play a Guild Gate and draw 2 cards.
That was my turn 5, I guess. So this is turn 1. Turn 2 was Tamio tick up. Turn 3 was
Yeah.
Double Risen Reef. Well, this is turn 4. Did you? I think you played next. No, you didn't play
No.
an extra land drop.
Because on one turn you played another
Oh,
mana
I held
creature.
up a negate. Oh, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just missing a turn.
Yeah, it's turn 5.
Turn 5. You done there? Or
Yeah, I'm good.
attack you. Could do some more cool stuff, I guess, but that's it.
Okay.
I did the thing.
Line of Abundance certainly seemed good there.
Yeah. But let's be clear. If you were playing a deck that has shock and lightning strike and stuff like that, and you just had like turn 1 kill your Llanowar, turn 2 kill your
Leafkin Druid.
Leafkin Druid, my deck doesn't do anything.
Yeah, then you're on a mold of 4.
Yeah. So to be clear, the deck is vulnerable to spot removal, especially if your hand is completely all in on the ley lines. But I probably would have mulliganed if I knew that you were playing that deck.
But there's a lot of ramp decks going around right now, and there's a lot of these elemental decks that aren't playing a lot of removal.
Yep.
They're relying on Omnath to kill things. That doesn't come down till 4 mana. So I think this deck is exploiting that hole in what people are trying out right now.
Are we
What-
playing another one?
No, I think we're going to take a break and then set up the last match.
Sure.
Um,
Sorry, keep going.
And then so they're exploiting that hole, and whether or not the metagame stays that way going into paper tournaments with Worcester this weekend, and some team opens coming up, if it does, this is a deck that fits into that early hole where people are sort of ignoring what you're doing on the first couple turns, trying to go over the top of you.
Yeah.
And this deck, it doesn't. I don't think it. Like I said, I don't think it goes over the top in the long game over some of the other decks, but it goes big a lot faster.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. I think that the ley line of abundance is just an insane. Like ley lines in general being free, there's a reason why most of them were reactive. Like you gain hexproof. If your opponent tries to do X, you get to do Y. Your opponent's graveyards don't work. Like, ley lines being free is a huge deal. And the fact that you can start off with multiple ley lines of abundance and then cast a turn one Elvish Land or Elves and then ramp into like a 4 or 5 drop on turn 2. Are you kidding? That's crazy.
It's what people do in Modern with Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously that was like a nut draw, right? I completely bonkers. But that's just the type of thing you can do that early in the game and something that like not very many decks in the format can really handle. And my normal draws of just cast mana creatures into Nissa, into Mass Manipulation, steal some stuff, that's already a deck in Standard.
Yes.
The Bant / Simic Mass Manipulation deck just already exists. Leyline Abundance just fits into the deck and kind of reward you for playing more mana creatures, which you're already wanting to do. The Risen Reefs and the Leafkin Druid, not sure if they're really all that worth it, but 2 Risen Reefs in that game look nice. So
yeah, I was skeptical when everyone was going on and on social media about how good Risen Reef has been, and since I've seen it, just the ability, granting the ability to your other elementals, even if you only have Wildgrowth Walker or Cavalier of Thorn or Leafkin Druid, maybe 2 of those in your deck has been super relevant, and then obviously drawing them in the Risen Reefs themselves in multiples.
That's one of the reasons why I'm a huge fan of Neoform, because it helps you get the second Risen Reef very easily and very quickly. And one of the reasons why I'm definitely exploring that archetype, I was playing it last night. Like, deck feels pretty sweet.
Nice.
So
okay, let's take a few questions here, and then we'll set up the third and final match of the day. What do you got over there, Rob?
I'm gonna need some from Speed.
Oh,
come
chat,
on.
chat, come on.
They
Give
were
us a bad-
they
you got
were
a bad
pretty
one?
hyped about that last game.
That was a good.
Yeah.
That was sweet.
Somebody did say, looks like Negate is better than Gate.
I didn't know that that's what it was specifically talking about when they made the card.
But yes, I honestly, if my circuitous aren't resolved, I'm still very dense. So,
Well, I mean, you actually had a chance to potentially double spell. Like a single Gates Ablaze probably would have required a negate, whereas before it didn't really. Because
you were playing an 11/11 Hydra Crisis, so I'm not sure how much Gates Ablaze was going to do.
right, I didn't have the Crisis at the time though. Like I actually backdoored into the Nissa, which allowed me to Revelation for 10 with the Nissa on the battlefield and the Tamio, staying on the battlefield. And then that drew me into the Hydroid Crisis. So, like, I was going to do some busted stuff no matter what. But, like,
Yeah. But still, that's I sort of expected to have a game like that when I set this matchup up. I thought you were going to be able to just sort of bowl me over, taking this very aggressive approach to the matchup, spewing a bunch of permanents onto the battlefield. So I'm glad we got to see that aspect of things.
I'm glad we got to see the blue finale actually do something. Like, I was always a huge fan of Mindspring, like back in
the Turbo Lane deck.
Zendikar Standard. There was like this Jace the Mind Sculptor. I mean, there was that deck too, but there was just like Azorius tap out control with Everflowing Chalice, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Gideon Jura, Spreading Seas, things like that, and like it just had 2 Mind Springs or 3 Mind Springs, and so you would go like Path to Exile your thing, oust your thing, play your Wrath of God, whatever. I don't even remember.
Player Wrath, then player Gideon. Okay, the board's locked up for a couple turns.
Yeah.
Mindspring for 4.
Yeah.
Reload.
And that just refueled you and let you just like pull really far ahead.
Yeah. Well, I had 1 Mindspring in the Jace the Mind Sculptor Oracle of Moldiah deck, and I cast it for 10.
Well, yeah.
I didn't get to untap 5 lands afterwards. Do all this nonsense shuffling and make 37 extra mana. But so happy to see both decks be able to do their thing. If we don't have any questions, I guess we'll take our break now.
We
got a few
All right,
now.
let's
Okay.
go.
Yeah. Whenever we berate them and yell at them for not having questions, they come flooding in.
So Drake Sasser wants to know, what are your top 3 decks at this stage of testing?
I don't know. Every deck seems fine.
As far as setting aside old decks, like decks that were good in the previous standard format, because I think most of them are just still good. I think Mono Red's probably still good. Esper's still good.
Yeah.
Gruul, whatever, might still be, but I don't even know if it's better than Dinosaurs. But
I doubt it.
Setting those aside, the cards I've been the most impressed with that I actually would consider for this weekend, Dinosaurs with Marauding Raptor. I think that deck just feels good. The iteration that I played, maybe I need a couple more creatures in it. I'm not a huge fan of Shifting Ceratops personally, but I understand if you want to play it, that's fine. It's a new card. It's cool. It has a lot of text. Whatever. I think some form of Teamer Elementals might be really good, and I think the Neoform version might be the way to beat the mirrors because you just have more virtual copies of Risen Reef. And I think Orzhov Vampires is another one that with a bunch of the 5-drop that draws a bunch of cards. That way you just get full value out of the Sorin Minds ability. Seems really cool.
Yeah, I've liked the vampire decks when they're a little bit more aggressively slanted. They have a big pile of 1-drops, so you can get onto the battlefield ahead of your Sorin and use all of its abilities really effectively. So I've liked those decks. It seems like a more powerful version of the white aggro decks actually. Even though they're not some play Loxodon, but they're not playing History of Benalia because of their mana, and overall their mana base is worse. But what they're doing is just so much more powerful. They have reach from Sorin.
Yeah, Sorin plus Oath of Kaya just lets you burn people out sometimes, and that's 3 damage you can do every single turn with Sorin over the course of multiple turns. And like as an aggressively slanted deck to start with, just being able to burn your opponent out with like your generic removal spells just seems nuts.
They're also not as vulnerable to Goblin Chain Whirler.
Mm-hmm.
Both black 1-drops, Vicious Conquistador, and the new one that pumps are 1/2s.
Yep.
So you have more 1-mana creatures that survive it, and then it's really just Legion's Landing and Sky Marcher Aspirant. So.
Yeah, but you can just lean black slanted, and play Danto Vanguard as like the only real white only 2-drop. Legion's Landing is the only white only 1-drop, and then just have focus on swamps more than plains.
And you have Lieutenant that can pump your team out of Chain Whirler range. So there's a lot to like out of the vampire deck as well. I've liked vampires, I've liked dinosaurs, and then some version of elementals. Unclear as to exactly what that is, though. I was very impressed by the 4-mana 1/1 that makes 2 more tokens.
Same. If you Risen Reef into that one, you just kind of go nuts.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to keep tooting the Neoform horn. But you can Neoform into is pretty good.
Yeah, and you can Neoform the 4-drop away, still leave 2 tokens around, and get Cavalier of whatever.
Yeah, either one. I have 1 blue one and 1 green one. And
yeah.
Sometimes you just need a Brainstorm. That's pretty cool. Sometimes you just want to make more land drops and make a big guy. Though if he dies, you get your Risen Reef back or whatever. So
yeah.
All right, one more question, maybe 2 more, depending.
Where do you think the Esper decks go right now in Standard? Or is they still one of the top decks to beat?
I can't imagine those Esper decks fading away. I've seen them move away from Hero of Precinct 1 recently because there's a lot of creatures around, and Kaya's Wrath is really valuable. So they're moving back in a more controlling direction, like we saw them towards the end of the previous season and the beginning of this season before the Hero deck really emerged. So that's what I've seen out of them, and I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think we'll see that bear out in Worcester, where we see fewer Hero of Precinct 1s, more Kaya's Wraths in people's main decks.
Yeah, I think you just have to play Kaya's Wrath right now in the main. There's, especially with the Dinosaur deck being popular and the Risen Reef decks being popular, like every deck just has a swarm of creatures, and not a lot of them die to Cry the Carnarium. So yeah, just play like 3 or 4 Kaya's Wrath in the main deck and your Esper deck, and don't play Hero, and I think you're fine.
Yep.
Let's do one more if you got it.
It's about all we got for right now.
Cool.
Okay. Well, we are going to take a break while we get the last matchup set up, where we will be playing some elementals. That'll be what Todd is on, and I'm going to be playing Mono Blue Aggro. Autumn Burchett had an article yesterday on StarCityGames.com about the resurgence of this deck, so I have, faithfully borrowed their list, and hopefully it's great because this deck is nice. I love Mono Blue.
Yeah, Mono Blue's tight. Kind of fell off the map a little bit thanks to Teferi Time Raveler making you play at sorcery speed, whereas most of your momentum gained was by playing at instant speed and kind of throwing your opponent off balance. Narset also shuts down Curious Session, which is a little awkward, but the deck got a new toy, maybe a couple new toys. We're going to see how that plays out, and we're going to be playing against one of the more popular decks at the moment on Magic Online, and I'm playing one of the 5-0 deck lists from the deck dump on Magic Online, one of the leagues. So we're going to experiment with that first, and then we'll talk about potential changes and things like that. But don't go anywhere. Be right back for more Versus Live.